Hi there crafty friends. In today's video we're going to make these index cards which are Christmassy themed with the reds and the greens. I'm going to use inks, but you can most certainly use any kind of color medium that you have. Going forward I am going to create a similar index card using acrylic paints, so watch out for that video. I'm using plain flashcards that are plain on the one side and with lines on the reverse side. You could also just use a piece of cardstock or a piece of cardboard. It doesn't really have to be these ones specific. I just like the lines on the one side, which allows for journaling. I'm using oxide ink and I'm starting with my lightest color first. This color is called tea dye. I put some drops on the acrylic block and on the index card directly. I add some water and then I smush the cards together, or I smush the acrylic block onto them just to create different patterns of light and dark. I'm going to add a small amount of color to the writing side of the index card, a few droplets, a spray of water, and then I just press the two sides together and dry it. I don't want any more, I want it really light so you can read any journaling. The next color I'm adding is called brush corduroy, and I'm adding it in the same way, just some droplets, some water and some smooshing together. We should just call this the smooshing technique. For the green card I'm going to add two different greens. I'm using the Tim Holtz inks and the colors I'm going to use are Bundled Sage and Evergreen Burrow. I'm adding the colors together and then adding the water and doing the smooshing. This is a really fun technique because you can't really plan where the color is going to go, and it's really exciting to see the patterns it's going to form once you lift the block or separate the pages. For the red, I'm using the color Barn Door. This next technique works really well with oxide inks. I'm just splattering some plain water with a paintbrush onto the paint surface. I'm leaving it for a few seconds and then I'm putting a tissue over and lifting the color. And as you can see, the water reacts with the oxide and lifts the color off, so you've got some extra little splotches. It could also work with acrylic paints, but it works really well with oxide inks. I'm going to add some gesso with a piece of cardboard. I just like the texture that it leaves when I do it this way. You could also use your finger, you could use a paintbrush, or you could actually leave the gesso out. I just like the contrast it creates and lightens some areas and makes the colors a little bit more muted. I'm using my white acrylic marker to make some markings onto the card. You could also do writing, like you could write Merry Christmas or Jingle Bells. I'm just doing squiggles though. They look a bit like writing, but it's more just squigglies. I like the different effect and fun feel that it leaves. As you can see, we're just building layers continuously. The next layer is stamping. I have this script stamp that I really like and using some blank ink and just stamping here and there. Like I said earlier, I will be doing this technique using acrylic paints. If there is any other medium that you'd like to see these index cards in, do let me know in the comments and I'll give it a go. I'm now going to embellish these and make them a bit more Christmassy. I have some cardstock in a coordinating color and I'm just punching 1-inch circles with them. You could also just cut them out by hand. You could do squares. It doesn't have to be these circles. And then I'm gluing them onto a darker contrasting color, which will be a frame around the circle. And this I'm just cutting by hand. I'm going to keep adding to this until it creates a layered embellishment. I'm using some more coordinating cardstock just to balance it out and to bring some additional texture and color into the mix. There's no right and wrong in the placement of this. This is all to your personal preference, how you find it balanced, where you think it works. So a lot of times you could, or even I, do it really quickly. Sometimes it doesn't work and I can spend up to half an hour to an hour trying to position everything until it's balanced in my eyes. So do keep going at it. Try more, try less, try different textures. Everything works, and it's all, in the end, what you like and what you find pleasing. The dictionary words with meanings that I'm using here are from a Kaiser Craft collection called Treasured Moments Collection. It's a 12-inch by 12-inch double-sided scrapbooking paper that I use, and I find it quite useful, and I use these words quite a lot. You most certainly don't have to go and find that specifically. You could do handwritten words, you could use any kind of quote, or you could leave the quote out totally. For the little tabs on my index cards, I'm going to use these carnival tickets that I have. The colors are perfectly matched, so I'm going to put the red on the red one and the green on the green one. And then I'm going to use some black thread, which I also use quite often because I love the texture that it adds and the contrast, and it picks up the black from the wording and from my background. This is cheesecloth that I'm using, which I'm adding underneath my little pile of papers. And this is how I build my embellishment stack. I play around with the string and just see where I'm going to place it, and I see that it's not quite balanced, so I'm also going to put some of the black thread on the other side of the circle, which I feel it makes it a bit more balanced, and I've put it underneath the cheesecloth so there's a different kind of a contrast. I'll do the same on both cards. I have small wooden shapes which are a little Christmas tree and a star, which suit this quite well. If you don't go out and buy. You can use a little picture from a magazine. You could make your own little ornament to put there. You could put some beads or a button. It doesn't have to be these wooden shapes. Use whatever you have in your stash. I'm gluing everything down with my hot glue gun. You could also use craft glue or double-sided tape. I just like hot glue because it works really well. I'm used to using it, and it's an instant, it adheres instantly. And I tend to be a little bit impatient sometimes. I've also had the question before, would using the hot glue gun make the journaling on the other side bumpy when you write in it? And I have to say, not really, maybe slightly. I do tend to press it down quite a bit so it flattens it out quite a bit. If anything, the wooden shape would cause a bit of bulkiness, but it's all part of the charm, I think. And does it really matter if the writing is a little bit bumpy or wonky? I think it just adds and makes it a bit more unique. But by all means, keep it flat or flatter if you don't like bumpy writing. I'm going to use a black fine liner pen. You could also use a colored pencil or any kind of marker just to do a rough outline in black. I'm not doing it straight or using a ruler. I'm doing it quite rough and going back and forth a couple of times to make it look hand-drawn and scribbly. I do like that look. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got inspired to create your own index cards or using this technique for tags or even a junk journal cover. I would love it if you subscribed to my channel, as I have lots of new videos coming soon. Also hit the little bell so you're notified when my new content is uploaded. I'll see you again very soon. Bye!